back to another episode of the Gruesome Garage. And today, just because this thing is on 4 wheels doesn't mean it can move. We gotta bleed the brakes and deal with the drive shaft. Now, I got this drive shaft from my brother before he did his rear stretch and needed a custom drive shaft. So this one is the one that fits my rear because it's a manual transmission, so it's a little shorter than the automatics. With the automatics, you can just stick the front drive shaft in the rear, but with the manuals, it needs to be a little longer. I forget where this came from. I think it was like a ZJ or a WJ, not a WJ, some Grand Cherokee. Got out of the junkyard. It's a little longer than the stock fronts of Cherokees. So these things are filthy, and thankfully our uncle, who has been watching our videos out in Tennessee, saw that we needed some protection. So thanks, Uncle Ron. Can't wait to use these. Now, when I got this drive shaft from my brother, I noticed that the double cardan joint wasn't moving freely like this one. So if you can see, this one moves whatever way it needs to. With this one, it was getting stuck everywhere, and I thought it was maybe a U-joint, but the U-joints feel fine. It was this seal that goes over here. It was smashed up for some reason, probably from over articulation, and it wasn't allowing it freely. So I'm going to take the seal out of this one, or figure out if we can salvage two together, because, you know, I'm really not comfortable with trying to hammer this out. If it was my front drive shaft, which doesn't spin as much, really only off-roading, I would have no problem with it, or a little less of a problem. But this one is spinning all the time in the rear, and I really don't want it to fall out on me on the highway. As you can see, this was extracted from the old drive shaft that was all screwed up. Popped it off of here, popped it in here, and then I also took the, whatever you want to call this, CV cup thing from the old one, because it looked a lot nicer than the one that was in it. Looks like it's missing a couple of needles, and they're starting to fall out. So let's get to putting this U-joint back in. We're getting there, boys and girls. Rear drive shaft is in after a little rebuild. Brake lines are all finally hooked up. Got ourselves an extended line in the back. Hooked up some long johns in the front also. So let's get to bleeding. Maybe we can have this thing moving again today. Who knows? All I know is I want some wheels so I can get those bad boys on. Another thing to tie up odds and ends that I have to do is I got a little shorter shock than I used to have. I thought it was about the same size, but I guess not. And to get a little more up travel out of it, I'm going to replace the lower tabs with tabs a little bit higher up off the control arm to give me a few more inches of up travel. It'll give me about 5 inches of up travel and 7 inches of down travel, which is perfect, exactly what we want. Let's get tacking this on. There it is, guys. All tacked, or not tacked on, it's welded on, and it's perfect. Ready for the shocks to go back in. I just wanted to spray the area with some paint beforehand, and obviously you guys saw I got the tires finally put on. Went with simple D windows. Thought they were boring, so painted them goldy, kind of like a tan gold, but they look really good. Kind of separates the black of the sidewall, because, you know, there's just so much darkness going on, and it kind of looks like a poor man's method. So Man, these things are beautiful. Huge. Well guys, as you can see, the Jeep is almost finished. We have a few more tinkering items to do, like bolt in the front shocks. I have to deal with the rear shock hoops, and I'd like to deal with the coolant. Well, there's nothing really wrong with the coolant situation, but right now it has the old style sealed system, and I'd like to put a rad cap in. So I have a radiator, I have all the newer style stuff, but we'll get it in next video.
And guys, I don't know if you noticed in the past week, but we have reached 2,000 subscribers, which is pretty neat for us. And we want to give you guys a huge thanks. We wouldn't do it if it wasn't for the awesome viewers. And we want to give a special thank you to our aunt and uncle. They send us a little care package, and they're keeping an eye on us and making sure we're staying safe. So thank you.
So thank you, Uncle Ron and Aunt Jane. And tune in next time to see that Jeep maybe drive on the road.